Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we've got something new and kind of old on the desk. And it's not from Tamiya. It is actually from WPL this time. So what do I mean by new and kind of old? Well, this is technically a re-release of one of their discontinued trucks. This was only really available as a kit, and it is the C44. So I've had one of these in the past as a metal kit, and I absolutely loved it. But then I ended up parting it out and using it for other things. So I'm glad to actually get another one back on the channel, because there's a few things I want to do, which I'll need your guys' input later on in the video. So let's get out the box and see what this new RTR is like. So again, comes with a standard WPL controller, which I've got loads of. And the truck itself comes nicely, and the truck itself comes nicely pre-built. So underneath should be all the accessories and manual. You get an included battery as per usual, and it seems to be securely attached by two zip ties. 1 second, I've got to find a pair of cutters. So with it out the packaging, as you can see, it looks like the standard C44 from the outside, but underneath it is actually a little bit different. So now we can have a little look underneath and see what is different. Well, from the start, it is a completely different chassis underneath. I think the interior and the body, actually maybe not, the bed has got a slightly different moulding to it, but I think the interior pieces look like the original C44. It comes from the factory with metal links and the brass ball ends. The only thing I see of a slight downgrade is it doesn't come with a panhard bar setup like the original one did, but the mounts are there on the chassis and on the axle truss to remount it, which you will most likely need another set of ball ends with the threaded rods to mount it, and I don't know if it required a longer link originally or not, but yeah, you'll need that to swap it out. Another upgrade, and a lot of people know I have issues with this gearbox in general, is they originally came with a 260 style motor in a lot of their other stuff, which like the B36 transporter, which kind of made it absolutely gutless unless of course it was being run on flat surfaces. But this, they finally listened to the people and put a 370 motor in it. I also believe the motherboard which is in this is a upgraded one as well, but we'll find out soon when we take it out on a test run. Another thing I've noticed is there's now a longer rear plastic drive shaft, which is pretty cool. And why I'm saying it's pretty cool is if you do the Brooder Sprinter conversions, you'll know you'll need a longer plastic drive shaft. Here's a new option for you. But apart from that, it looks pretty much the same underneath, like the moulding for the interior body. The only other bit of moulding which I don't think is original or don't think is the same is the tray. But apart from that, it looks pretty good. The suspension's a bit hard, but then again it is a little bit more of a weighty truck. But yeah, it looks good. Oh yeah, so another thing which we kind of found out is these tyres need to be scrubbed when you get it. They have got quite a decent amount of mould release on it, and you can feel it just by rubbing your fingers on it and then rubbing them together. It feels a bit like slippery and whatever. So to get maximum performance out of it, I would recommend scrubbing them down with something, even soap and hot water would most likely do it. But that leads me on to my next question. After this video, what do you want me to do with this? I've got a couple of ideas floating around in my head which I've been wanting to do for a while. If you ever seen the YouTube channel Grind Hard Plumbing, you'll see they have an obsession with doing a 100-mile challenge, which I've been considering seeing how reliable a stock WPL is. And when I say stock, I am literally just going to leave it as bare bones until a part fails. But I also don't feel like walking 100 miles. So I'm going to give it 50 miles challenge and see how it goes from there. That is one idea. The second idea is if I modify it and possibly do it as a giveaway, because I'm coming up to 3,000 subscribers and I haven't done anything like this before, so I thought maybe a one-off limited special painted by me and fucking done up and made look pretty, but I'm not 100% sure yet what I want to do. So please leave down in the comments what you think I should do with it, and we'll get on to the running video. And we are back in the studio. So I've got to say, I am very much impressed with the new motherboard which is in this. It is surprisingly a lot more capable with a lot more torque on the bottom end. But saying that, like I said about the tyres, I didn't actually clean the tyres. So you could see it was struggling quite a bit. But the other thing is, with these tyres, I want to say they're like halfway between the kit ones, which are like these, where they're ultra soft. That's with foams in them, and they're sort of like in between the hard original RTR ones, but they do include foams, which is nice. So I've kind of come up with a plan, because I attempted at the, well, you saw in the running video, I was going around the woods and going around the castle. I attempted to try and do the 500-mile challenge. Not 500 miles, 50-mile challenge I said about earlier. This thing's too slow for my walking pace. Normally, at Woodlands, I took this around. I can happily walk around in maybe half an hour. Like the entire Woodlands in half an hour. This took nearly an hour to get around. An hour and a bit. So it's basically double my walking time. So it may not stay stock for long. But then that leads to the next issue is I don't actually have a 2-speed to throw in this. Because I would love to just be able to throw a 2-speed in and have it in the higher gear and send it. But I think I think it was the Suzuki Jimny build was the last one which took the last 2-speed I had available. So I think I'm going to go a completely different route. I've got V4 tyres, so these are the ones with the more aggressive tread. These are more of like a road, like an all-terrain tread. And I've got this little box of parts. So what's in this little box of parts is, if I can get it open, a bunch of wheel weights I've kept. The new WPL, I think they're oil or gas dampeners. So I've got a set, or I've got 2 sets of them. I've got a set of metal axles. And I've been saving this one for a little bit. The original C44 gearbox and motor combo. I want to see how good I can get this to crawl. It crawls alright with the setup it's got in it now, but I'm not sure if this has got a lower ratio than that has. So I'm kind of curious if I put this in it, whether or not it would be any slower on like the low end on the throttle. Keeping all the new board and everything, not swapping it out. But it's just out of curiosity whether or not this would work. And luckily enough, I found in my parts drawer one of the original long length rear drive shafts. So I'm away for work for the next week and a bit. And I am deciding I'm going to take this with me and upgrade it. I think I will get round to painting the body at another time, but for just now it's going to stay factory colour. I'm not going to bother putting any of the accessories on, because no my luck, last time I put like the I think they're the indicator lights on the fenders, it decided to rip it out and destroy them when I tried to pull them out to paint the body. So all I've got to say is please like, comment, subscribe, stay tuned for more, and I may still be doing this as a giveaway. I'm not 100% sure yet. So I'll see ya.